Hello and welcome. Welcome to the stream. In just a moment, we're going to be doing some game dev. Now, I was supposed to do game dev on Sunday. I was supposed to do a stream on Sunday, and I did not because I burnt out. I was not having a good day, and it was not going to be a good stream if I had streamed that day. And the reason I felt that way is because I was staring at my game, and I was staring at my to-do list, and it was occurring to me that this game is too big. I scoped out a game that is too big for my goal, and that made me sad because it would take me at least 6-7 more stages to get the game in a state that I actually want it to be in. And I get the feeling that for a new developer like me, for a new game developer like me, if I'm trying to make something, even if I'm trying to make something that's like professional and that I can sell it, like not for a lot of money, but I can justify selling it for like $2. I should probably scope it to 3 months max. And I should probably do like what I did for one of the game jams, where I make a game in a month. I submit that game, and then after that, I work on it for 2 more months. And that should be plenty of time to polish the game up, finish adding content, make something that's sellable, which is the goal of this project. And I don't want to stop. I genuinely want this game to be finished because I want to play it. So I'm going to keep going. I did spend a lot of time thinking like, all right, what if I put this aside and then just work on another game for 3 months? I have ideas. I have several ideas for games that could easily be something that I finish in a month and then polish up. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because there is another goal that I am trying to keep to. This is the second game that I've ever made in Godot. And it's like if we don't count like stuff made in school and things that I worked on for 2 weeks and then like it died, like I lost the code, and this is like the third game I've ever worked on. And I'm still learning. I'm still a newbie. And this has been an excellent learning opportunity for me to learn like networking. I learned some things in this that I definitely applied to the game jam in March for Agent Smooth. And I want to keep learning. And as long as I keep picking up new skills, trying new things in Godot, it doesn't matter that this game is 7-8 months out from being demoable, which is demoralizing to think about. But if I keep doing things that are new, I'm happy. I'm having fun. We can keep moving forward. And there is something that I think I should raise the priority of, because it is a skill that I've been putting off learning because I'm very nervous. I'm not very artistic, and I'm not confident that I can do it. So I'm going to take a stab at learning it. And if I can't do it, I'm going to stop this game development and switch to something that is within my talent set. And that's fine. I am willing to accept that I am not technically capable of finishing this game. But the thing that I would like to learn, and it's not like super hard. I need to learn how to make 3D models and turn them into 2D sprites. I need to be able to, let me just zoom in. Where's my player? Screw it. This placeholder's got to go. The monster placeholders, they've got to go too. We need to replace them with a proper placeholder. And when I say proper placeholder, I mean we need either rigging or we need some complicated sprite sheet going on. I have never done rigging. I've never done 3D modeling. I don't know the first thing about Blender. I don't know the first thing about turning images into sprites. all of the skills that I have in animating sprites are on 16 by 16. Maybe I should have fallen back to that because I've proven to myself that I can do that, and I've proven that I can't do 64 by 64. This is 32 by 32. I am going to turn this guy into a proper sprite. Not the final product, but something that like accurately represents the vision I have for this game. So what that means is they're gonna have 4 different directions they can face. They're going to be able to walk around. When you put armor on, the armor is going to actually show up on the sprite. When they're holding a weapon, the weapon will be in their hand. They don't necessarily have to swing it on attack. They don't have to do anything else beyond that. That's it. They just walk around. You can put equipment on and you can visibly see the equipment. In the future, I would also like for the player to be able to color the equipment and color the sprite. That doesn't have to be immediately done. But if I can do that, I'm happy. We can go another month. That's going to be the next thing I work on. That's not going to be the thing I work on today. I'm going to start as 1 or 2 bits when starting out. I feel like one bit is actually harder than 16 bits because you need more vision than what 1 bit really gives you. When I say 16 by 16, I mean like the size of the pixel, not the pixel, the size of the canvas. The number of colors is not the problem. I have a very nice palette. I appreciate the palette. I'm not held back by the palette, but I am held back by the fact that a 32 by 32 canvas gives me room for adding detail to the sprite that I'm not capable of doing. And in particular, the character, it's not just the case that I just need to draw like 1 sprite and then I need to draw it in 4 directions and then I need to animate it. I need to draw like the arm separately. I need to draw the legs separately. I need to draw the head separately so that I can put like the armor on it. And then I need to animate the armor and then I need to animate like the weapon. And that's just the character. I also need to do something similar for all the monsters. I can do something simpler for the monsters, but I still need to do something for the monsters. 1 to 2 bit art has less resolution to track over time. Well, it's sure. I'm comfortable with 16 bit. 16 by 16. If this was a 16 by 16 game, I would not be really stuck, or not stuck. I would not be apprehensive. I will say that ever since March, I have had turning 3D models into 2D sprites on my like to learn list because there were other games in that game jam that crammed out a lot more sprites than I was capable of hand drawing. And it's absolutely clear that those were not hand drawn. Theirs were not hand drawn, and it looked good, and it was great. They probably like created a entire monster art palette in a day. I had to cut so many corners for my game, and I would like for that to not be the case going forward. So I do want to learn using Blender to make this art happen. The alternative, if that doesn't work, I know Godot has pretty good rigging, and I don't think rigging is going to give me the art style that I want, but learning how to do rigging in Godot, I would be happy with that. The other alternative is to just draw the sprites by hand, and if I do that, I am not going to be doing that on stream. Because that's going to be extremely tedious and mind-numbing, and I am going to be focused entirely on like trying to get the pixels lining up. Array modifier and animation offset tool helps with 3D to 2D. You'd get better at it. Yeah, well, if it comes to that, I will do that, but I will not do that on stream. We'll just say that. Look at voxel editors as another avenue. I imagine voxel editors are going to be more work than making a 3D model, though, because you have to build the voxels. You know, if this was the kind of thing where I was importing the model into Godot and then having Godot turn that into sprites, that I think is actually a good direction. That'll be pretty smart, and that might be that has its own artistic merit, I think. Like in some cases that looks better. Like maybe for a first person shooter that would look better. Maybe if this was my first person shooter, that would be the technique to go with. If I'm building a sprite sheet though, I don't imagine that's going to be more maybe. Actually, that might be the same level of complexity. But all that talk, we're not working on that today. We're actually, one of the advantages of being a solo dev is that I get to just change the schedule however much I want, and it doesn't hurt anyone. I know that is a no-no if you are on a team, because that completely throws a wrench into like what the team is working on. But I'm solo. It's going to take me 8 months to make a simple game. That's a downside. Upside, I get to change the schedule whenever I want. So I did. I took most of what was left of stage 2 and I moved it to stage 3. There it is. We'll do it in stage 3. The only thing that's left, which is what we're going to do today. Who hired this guy? That's right. You can't stop me. I am not empty-handed. I did work on Monday. I did write some code on Monday for player KO and death. So now we can die. And also monsters will respawn. Right now the respawn timer is 5 seconds. I don't think that's going to be what it's going to be in the long run. But, you know, just to prove that respawning works, there's a little bug with it that I need to fix with the attack target not changing. When the player dies, the creatures will continue attacking them. That's not imperative that I get that fixed right now, but that is imperative that I get that fixed soon. I also added the bow and arrow objects, and I tried to add them to the game, and I couldn't because combat was just a placeholder, and it was just a placeholder that said sword. And, bow is not sword. So I actually spent a lot of time making a combat helper. And I created a new combat item, which is just inherits the item data. It just extends item data. And here's a bunch of functions that the combat helper relies on math-wise. So I already did that with a sword. I'm going to do that with the bow. Bow doesn't have anything yet. All of these functions also apply to armor, so I'm going to add those to armor. And then I need to make the range check actually work. So right now, there's no range. The range is hard-coded, and I need bows to check the range, and then I need them to consume ammo. And I don't think I have the functions defined yet to make that happen, but I'm going to do that right now. The combat helper function is actually not that complicated. It looks complicated. If the attacker is a mob, its attack power is 25. Otherwise, for player, get their player's inventory component, look at every item in their inventory. If that item is in a slot that it belongs to, if a hand item is in a hand, if a chest item is in a chest, then since this is calculating the attack, check to make sure it can attack. If it can, by default items can't, but sword can. Then we check to see if it's a weapon, and if it is, then we'll say that we have a weapon. And then we get the weapon's attack power, and we get the skill that the weapon uses. And then we check our skill component for that skill. And then we're done. We add that all together. If we didn't get a weapon, then we just do unarmed. We hard code the unarmed skill right here. Don't worry about it. And then calculate defense is exactly the same, except instead of looking for weapons, we're just looking for the defensive power of items in our inventory. And then there's this function to check if the shape of the item slot is the same as the shape of the item. And it is as complicated as it looks because Godot does not have null checks built into anything, which sucks. It's very frustrating. And then if we demonstrate that combat is a lot, I don't want to say like faster, but the numbers are a lot higher. Because before it was like they hit for 1 damage and I hit for 4 damage because that's hard coded. Nope. Now it's I haven't coded in missing yet, but I saw 0 damage, 5 damage. Actually, the damage is not as high as I thought it would be. Whatever, I gotta work on the math. That's actually not important right now. This is all still placeholders. We're gonna get that working. And then I'm gonna add a basic GUI to just list out the stats that the player has. That should be simple. We have a skill component. The player has a skill component. We can just get all the skills, put them in a list, keep that list up to date, and we're done. Hopefully that's a 15-minute thing. And then to finish stage 2, we're going to wipe this dungeon and make a new one. I mean, I might not do that on stream, but that is, I feel like, a good way to end each stage, is to take all of the content that I've added to the game and actually make a dungeon with it. And that will either highlight, this is not bad, I can make something with this, or this is really dumb. What I've done is dumb and I should feel bad. I feel like 2/3 of the stuff that I've implemented, like water and the revive shrine, which doesn't work, but the concept of it is fine. And I can work with that. And then like pressure plates are broken and dumb, and I am going to need to refactor them, but whatever. All right. That's what today's going to be. And then we're done. Done with stage 2. Blender add-on used to have a carousel add-on for 360 rotations, array modifier and animation offsets for sprite sheets. I think I've seen, I don't know if it's plugins for, if Blender has plugins or add-ons or whatever they're called, extensions. I've seen extensions that are designed to like facilitate taking a model and turning it into a sprite sheet. That's definitely, there's definitely a workflow to be found there. All melee can be ranged attacks for less complexity if you want to golf level code ribbons and trophies. This is definitely going to be coded sloppily. I am just going to put that up front, and I don't apologize. All right. So before we get working on the bow, I need to, and I should say it's not just the bow. I do need to get the bow working, but I also need to get all the items with some basic stats. So that's just the shield and the chest armor. That's going to take like 5 minutes. We're going to take the bow, and we're going to take all these functions. Can attack is only true if we have ammo. Oh, great. I should copy this as well. This is not a body shape. Skill bow. I think we have to invent that. This does not need to be hard-coded. why don't I just copy this string into there? Let's raise the attack power. Let's make it 80. Okay, so it is a weapon. It has attack power, Can it attack? That depends. We need to get the item's owner first. And then I also need to decide. This was something that came up in Martian Rogue, where I have a function that checks, do I have the ammo? And then that function also spends the ammo. I think it's fine to spend the ammo here. I think that's fine. But I am cognizant of the fact that that might be a bad idea. If we want to be able to say, I want to check to make sure I have the ammo, but not actually spend it. If there's ever a world where we need to do that, this is a bad idea. So I'm just going to bet that we never need to do that. We need to get the collectible component var cc of the object handler dot get collectible component item. Then we need to get the collector. And then we need to get their inventory component. Get inventory component. I might just be able to do this. And then there's a function to look for items in inventory components. Oh, I don't need this. I don't need this equip function anymore. I can throw that away. Search all items for. Dot search. Okay. var item equal search all items for arrow. If arrows we have arrows in the inventory, but we aren't done. We need to make sure that the arrows are in the hand. They have to be in the hand. They can't just be in a backpack. There's no quiver slot. I thought about what if I had a quiver slot, but no. I think I want the arrow to be in the hand. At least for now. Let's take the arrows dot. Oh, I don't have the inventory slot that this is in, do I? This doesn't return the inventory slot. This returns an array. Oh man, it would be really handy if I had a function in my inventory, my item, that was like check shape alignment. Am I aligned to the shape I'm connected to? So why don't I just invent that shape? Why don't I just invent that function? I will put it at the bottom. Func is in shape slot. Okay, so we're an item. We have a collectible component. I know we do. Collector. If collector. Var collector. I see inventory component equals object handler dot get inventory component. For item in collector IC dot item slots. If slot dot item slot equals self, then we found the slot. If slot dot item slot dot item data dot shape item shape dot shape equals we have a shape too. Where is it? Oh, it's in our item data. Oh, that's this. No, I don't want the item slots item data shape. I want the item slots shape. Shape dot shape, because that's the insanity of this. Okay, that should be it. This function should give us, if this function should tell us, are we where we belong. So at this point we have arrows, which is giving us an array. We should consume the arrow. And then return true. Yes. And that's it. This should now consume arrows. Is this really it? This doesn't feel right. All right, so if I grab a bow and I grab 3 arrows, and I grab this key, and then we go hunting. I don't have range yet. It's not even defined in the item, let alone defined in the combat helper. Uh-oh. Invalid access to property or key shape on a base object to type nil. What's nil? Hold on. Oh, because some slots don't have a shape. But we shouldn't be looking at okay, let's try this again. Hold on. There's a faster way for me to test this. All right. What is nil? And we're back. Maybe. Nope, we're not back yet. Oh, are we back? No, this just says I disconnected it again. Great. Go away. Okay, it looks like we're back. The test stream says we're back. Okay, great. I realized just as my internet went down, like it actually went down. I never actually made this a hand item. So this will never be in the hand, or this will never, this doesn't have a shape. So easy fix. Let me grab an existing object that has a hand slot. There it is. I should probably make that a function. All right. It works. I'm consuming arrows. And I'm not attacking anymore. Oh no, I am attacking. I'm just not doing damage. All right, it's time to demonstrate what code I have for dying. So when you drop to 0 hit points, this countdown pops up. Everyone can see this countdown. When it hits 0, you instantly respawn. If anyone heals you in the interim, and I haven't disabled like using items, so you can heal yourself at the moment. But that's not the plan long term. Why did this close? Oh, because someone hit a pressure plate. Interesting. You respawn after you die. If someone heals you, you're not dying anymore. I'm going to disable all possibilities for the player doing anything while they're in a dying state. And I'll also need a sprite for like, oh, you're down on one knee. You have 10 seconds to get healed by an ally. Cool. So this works. All we need to do is get range working. Let's look up how we do that. To figure that out, first we need to figure out what we've been doing this whole time. Combat handler, not important. This is not the thing we need to look at. We actually need to look at the combat component. So the combat handler is going to ask every creature, is it time to attack? And when it is, this thing is calling check attack cooldown, and then it's calling strike target. And at some point, it's calculating range here. This is it. This is the function we need to adjust. So attack range is actually a variable. We don't need base damage anymore. Are we even using that? I should not delete. I should just comment out. We'll delete them in the future. I have my attack range here. It's just 60. And that's wrong. That needs to not be 60. That needs to be plucked from... If it's the player, I just need to pull it from the weapon. Or if I don't have a weapon, we can default to 60. Where else are we using attack range? So let me go ahead and attack cooldown is player enabled attack target parent attack target health component inventory component. Why am I saving the health component inventory component? That seems silly, but whatever. Instead of this just being a hard-coded, what we can do, and then what I've done for calculate attack is, where am I? Oh, did I delete that code? Oh. All right, I did delete a chunk of this and replace it with the combat helper. So let me go to the combat helper. Let me pick up if attacker is mob, if attacker is player, and I think the attacker in this case is the parent. Yeah. So we need to get the, if the parent, we'll just hard code that for now. If parent is player, we will go through our inventory and we'll look for a ranged, we'll look for weapons. And if there is a weapon, we'll grab its range. And if we have multiple weapons, we'll take the minimum. And then if we don't have a weapon at all, we'll just set our attack range to 60. It's fine. Maybe this can be a constant. Sure. We'll figure out mob range later. The parent, if the parent is a player, we are going to I know what to do, but like talking is actually hurting my brain. I should just do it without talking. I'm gonna be silent for the next 5 minutes. Apologies to the stream. Parent. Dot. I should not be recalculating this on every strike target, because strike target gets called basically every 2 seconds, I'm guessing. Yeah. So we actually want to we want to cache the range. In order to cache the range, we need to be connected to the inventory component and listen for when items are changed, when the inventory is changed around. I should probably cache it for the calculate attack phase too, but I think Maybe not. I could have a function get weapons. Or how best to cache when I equip an item? Am I checking that I'm still using that item every time? You know what? Actually, it occurs to me, this is optimization. We can just come back to it later. Let's do it the dumb way right now, which involves every 2 seconds, we go through our entire inventory and we look for, is this a weapon? Is this a weapon? Oh, this is a weapon? What's its range? That's the range? Great. I need this function to be more universal, so I'm actually going to remove that. There's no reason for it to be internal because it's a static function, and I'm an idiot for making it internal or private. I know it's just a convention, but no reason for that. If this is aligned to its item, then I should not call the can attack function. I should just look at the range. If has weapon, is weapon. Attack range equals math.min attack range slot.item slot.item data dot range. Should I make that a function? Nah. And then we just go to the combat. Over here, and we make a var range. Okay. And then we go to the bow. And we say range equals 300.0. Oh, shoot. Where is attacker? Parent. This is actually parent. What do you mean math is not declared in the current scope? Do I have to shout it? Is it just min? Oh, cool. Okay, I don't think there are any collision checks on attacks right now, so we should be able to just directly shoot through the walls. And we're not. Well, just in case. Oh, I know the problem. I'm an idiot. Max. No. What was I trying to say here? I was trying to say, like, if you're using a bow and a sword. your minimum range is your sword. Your range is the sword range, not the bow range. But if there's an existing attack range, we can never exceed 60. Yeah, that's a... And what I could do is I could create an array. And then get the min from that array and then make that the attack range. And then attack range equals min range array. Does that work? I can pass in an array, yes. All right, now we should be able to shoot dudes through walls. Expected 2 arguments. Ugh. Really? I can't call min on one array or one object item? If range array dot length size is greater than 1, else attack range equals range array 0. Yes. I mean, it's not good that we're shooting through walls, but we did it. Oh, shoot. We can still attack them. No, this shouldn't work anymore because can attack is false. Are we not doing can attack? Oh, we're not doing can attack. This is when I'd want to be able to can attack, but not consume ammo. Okay, let's experiment. Consume ammo. Does that break anything if I do that? Ah, yeah, it does. Okay. Now we can go back to the combat component and we can check can attack. Okay, we should no longer be able to attack. Oh, instant crash. Oh, shoot. All right. Silly. It would be cool to have an arrow flying animation. I have the arrow sprite, so like doing that should be pretty easy. To do arrow flying animation. Done. We're not done. I mean, we are done with this, but we're not done. We need to implement a few more things. Combat item, armor. Scripts. I need to grab the chest armor and move it up. And then I need to update this. And then I need to make shields. Script. Okay, move that in, and then move these in. And then we update here, and then we're good. Let me just verify. I think so, because the game didn't crash. So now all we need to do, make this extend combat item data. Let me grab some functions to copy. We're not attacking. We don't have a defensive thing to do. We don't care about this. We're not a weapon. Can defend is true. All right. Defensive power, let's say 40. And I think we can just copy that over to the shield. There was one more thing. It was the skill. I need to assign a skill. So we're going to have a new skill. Oh, you know what? I should just... No, we're actually going to make a new skull armor. Okay. I don't know. We can make this 55. It's all arbitrary. Now, we should be done. I equip this, and I should be taking substantially less damage from everyone. I think the shield is on level 2, so I'm just going to run past these slimes. Uh-oh. Non-existent function defend power. What did I call it? Defense power. Why did it think that was a function? Why did I think that was a function? That's no excuse. Did the game crash? Yeah, it crashed. All right. Try again. Oh no. Don't you dare. All right. Okay, and then in here is the shield. Now we should take no damage most of the time. 0 damage, 0 damage, 0 damage. I need to add missing. Okay, I don't know why I'm still playing. To do, add missing. We're done though. We're done with this. We're going to work on another thing now. Add basic stats in a stat GUI. It occurred to me when I was doom spiraling on Sunday that a lot of my UI elements are actually not separate in their own scenes. They're actually just baked into the main scene, and that's bad. This health bar should not be defined here. It should be defined in its own scene, and then the scene should be plopped in. Is that what this means? Oh yeah, no, that's the UI element. The UI element is separate, but I should not be making scenes for the UI layer here. I should be making them in their own scenes. I will be making a to-do for myself. Make UI elements each their own scene. The reason I was looking at that was because I was looking at grabbing an asset pack and slapping it in here and feeling a little better about the game because this is fine, but it's not pleasant to look at. And I don't actually know how to improve this. Like, how do I make this look less bad? I don't know. Asset pack, put it in there, go. But doing that requires me having these things be a little more independent than they currently are. If I grab an asset pack and I try and plug it in right now, it's going to break. And it's going to be a mess to clean up because the code that is manipulating all this stuff is just all over the place. And yeah, I need to get the game into a position to where I can slap an asset pack. Anyway, all that to say, let's make a new scene. UI, I probably want to make a folder for like HUD. HUD, and then we'll add this new scene. We'll call it the skill menu. No. Skill list. Skill UI. Sure. And hey, I just came across your stream. I've been watching for a bit. I'm curious on why you have a lot of unused parameters in your functions of the item classes. I have unused. Let me see. Well, I assume you mean the item data. Let me go look at just a random one. It's probably because copy paste. Like here, yeah, that's copy paste. And here, copy paste. It's because some of these functions need to have the item being passed in so that I am aware of like the item data is actually not aware of the item itself. So I need to pass in the item to make the item data able to actually touch the item and do things with it and modify it. So some of these inits, actually probably none of these inits need the item. Oh no, this one does. This one does. This is why. It's because some of the inits do actually need to be able to add signals to the item, and to do that, they need the item. And this function is coming from here, and it's just defined that way. So every single init, without exception, has to have the item passed in. And that's handled automatically, so that's painless for me. And it does not really cost that much in terms of performance to do. It increases the stack just a little bit. It's just a reference, so it's just a couple bytes on the stack. So it's not even inefficient. And it's not possible in Godot to be like, all right, this init needs to have the item passed in, but the other inits don't. There's no way to overload. Well, that's not. Is that true? There's no way to overload the function to make it so that this init can just be like this, and Godot will figure it out. I can't do that. I have to. If I have one init that takes in an item, all inits have to take an item. And the reason that quick look is taking in an item, I don't think there are any quick looks that need the item. This is 100% copy paste. That's 100% copy. I could probably remove that in the long term, be happy with that, and yeah. Can you not append an underscore on the ones that don't need the item so you don't get all the warnings? I think that breaks the abstract. Oh no, I can do that. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I'll to do suppress warnings. Future me can worry about that. There's no reason not to, but there's also like, the warnings or whatever. Let's go ahead and grab a UI element and stick it on here. I don't know what element this should be. I've been looking at the 959 down there in the debuggers. That number is going to keep growing. I mean, a lot of these are things that I can't fix. Or I mean, maybe I can fix, but like that is, I don't want to spend 2 weeks not making my game better just to make this number go down. That's not productive. And this number is going to go up anyway. So I need this to be editable so that I can put my UI element in there. It's just going to be probably a scroll container. I don't think I need this HBox container. VBox container, scroll container. Why are you mad? This is intended to work with a single child control. Get out. Oh, we can't do that. Use a container as child or control and set the custom minimum size manually. What does that mean? Oh, I know what this means. I've got this backwards. Oh, we can't do that. Okay. I need to put a VBox container inside of this. A plus. Let's just put this up there. I don't need this. Get that out of here. Now what we need to do is write some code that connects to the player, we're going to connect to the player's skill component. We're going to say, every time you get a new skill, I want to know about it. Every time your skill updates, I want to know about it. And then we get a whole list of labels. Maybe we create a dictionary of labels and we just update the labels and we're done. We've created the skill UI. Is there a better way to do this? Is there a way to make like a table? I don't know. There's probably a better way to do this. Make the GUI, the stats. I've got like so many make the UI suck less notes to myself that I'm just going to add one more and it's fine. I think it's a problem if this is not a canvas group. I mean canvas layer. It might be inefficient to be doing things like that, but man, I don't know. Skill UI. We need this to be bigger for sure. So layout, custom minimum size, 128 by 128. Maybe not that. Presumably as the scroll container fills up. Never mind. It's a scroll container. It should not change the shape of anything. It should just create a scroll bar. Let's not assume. Okay. Enough spacing out. It's time. Attach a script. Skill UI. This script needs to, on ready, find the player, connect to the player, player, there they are, we found them. Get their skill component. And then in the skill component, we need to invent a signal. Because I have no signals and I need them. Signal, skill update. Maybe we have signals, new skill, and signal skill update. Should we emit skill update when we also emit new skill? Nah. Okay, we have the signals. Now we just need, I should probably emit what the skill is. Is that how that works? I hope so. So we emit the signal and we emit the name of the skill to update. We should probably keep track of the skill component. Or what if instead of just passing the wait, what if we be incredibly lazy? And in addition to passing the name, we also pass the int param. So now everything we need to update is available. And we don't need to keep track of the skill component anymore because the signal will automatically give us all the information we need to keep the UI up to date. So all we need to do, sc.connect, nope, sc. What's the name of the signal I just defined? You expect me to remember? Skill update dot connect. We got to define a callable. Update skill. Do I need to pass in anything else? I don't. sc dot new skill dot connect new skill. Func add new skill. Let's make these private. Okay. We need to take in an int. No, we need to take in the name. Skill name string skill value int. When you define the signal for the skill changing new skill, you can put this parameters you're passing to it like this signal name value 1 value 2. Oh, yes, that makes sense. Let me update that. So like, I like that. Plus you can type them as well. Excellent. Make things a little clearer for future me to worry about. Yeah. Skill name. So we're adding a new skill. We're just going to create a new label. We're going to give it the name. Actually, we should make 2 labels. Because no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just kidding. It does not matter. But I do want to make a dictionary of labels. Label dict equals How do I define dictionary? There, okay, brackets. This takes in a string and it spits out a label. Okay, var new label. Label dict dot add set append dot add assign. Nope. Get or add? No. I guess it is set. All right, set. The key is skill name and the label is label. All right. The dictionary is loaded. Now we need to make this contain the data that we want it to contain. Label dot text equals skill name and then we add it to the VBox container. We're done. We've added the skill. Func update skill, skill name, string skill value, int. This time, we don't need to make a new label. We just go to our handy label dict. Dot get skill name label dot text equals, just copy this and we're done. Boom. Wishing you good luck with your craft. Just sending positive vibes. I love Godot too. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good vibes are good to have. Hope your game dev is going well as well. Hope you're having a lot of fun in Godot. Have you tried out 4.7 yet? Let us add this to the main. Oop. I just drag it in like so. Is this gonna break because I have two canvas layers? I have nested them. I think that will break. Invalid access to property or key skill update on a base object. Ah, yes. I was worried this would happen. Not yet. I'm trying to learn pixel art at the moment. Ooh, enjoy that fun. Enjoy that. I love pixel art though. That is my favorite art to do. I've run into this problem before. I ran into this problem when I was split item menuing. How did I solve that? Did I? No, it wasn't that. It was right click menu. I've definitely run into this problem before. How do I call deferred? I have to wait until the, you know what I could do? No. No, I shouldn't. I should just remember how to do this. Input handler dot player. What am I calling that? Oh, was it? No, it wasn't in the options menu. There is a way to tell Godot, wait for this to exist, but I don't remember. It might be call deferred. Let me try that. Nope, can't do that. Let's just try that. just flail a little. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, so we can't wait for the get. We can't wait for that. All right, hold on. If I hit play, what all is ready by the time we reach this breakpoint? The input handler is completely empty. We don't have a player yet. Wasn't there a signal? Oh, that's right. I think there was a signal I could wait for in main. I think I had that spawn complete. Let me just see. Chest helper. That's not what I was thinking. Oh, I've commented this out though. So I created this signal and then I didn't use it. No matter. What if we connect to that signal? How are we going to get to that signal? Oh, wait, I don't need to connect to it. I can just do, okay, so await. I can just await the signal. And we can't do the input. We can't go through the input handler because it doesn't have main yet. So we just do get parent dot get parent, which is the least fragile way to do this. On main ready. Wait, what? What is this on main ready? Oh, spawn complete. That's the one. All right. How is it still nil? We're waiting the spawn complete. Oh. Oh, we don't have a player. We need to wait until the player is connected. How are we creating our inventory? Because this should be created with the inventory window. I'm confused as to how. Hold on. I'm confused as how does this work? What health event are you connected to? Oh. Like this, there's nobody attached to this. So how is this? not making Godot hate me. On value change. All right, so I guess what we probably were doing is we are telling the player to reach out to this health bar and registering it. So we can follow the similar pattern with the skill UI. We go to the player. I don't need to search for the player. I know where they are. They're in the base folder. And then somewhere in here, in this big nonsense, we got the sync connected bars. That's the function. We've got this. We're connecting the UI to. Ooh, that's fragile. We just need to go. We need to get this. We need to get node our skill component, our skill UI, and we need to tell it, hello, I'm the player. Nice to meet you. And then we're good. Where's my inventory getting set up? Is that set up in the inventory component? It probably is. Why am I not seeing my inventory component? Inventory component. Create UI element. What we can do, we can scrap this. We can go to our skill component. And we can copy the same logic that we did for the inventory component. Skill component. Okay, before I go here, I should actually go to the inventory component and copy the logic. If the parent is the player, if the player is me, create the UI element. We don't need a player breadcrumb. We do need this create UI element function to work. How do I do that? In here? Create. What is it? Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, I just read these lines and I was like, that's it? It's just 2 lines? No, there's actually more. We create the scene, we instantiate it, we put it at a position, then we get the node 9 patch rect, and we set its minimum size. I'm sure past me knew what they were doing, so I'm gonna trust. We hide the close button. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and hide that for now. What was this? InVUI element dot hide close button. I need to. What is this local UI accessor? We are not gonna have to worry about that because we're never closing this. Skill UI. We don't need. We're never closing this. Get that out of here. All right. Cool. We have a little skill bop. Thought I made this bigger. We can test it out by attacking ourselves. It's not working. Let me just verify that we have skills. I know we just killed ourselves, but besides that, we do. We have a bow skill. Why is it not showing up in the skill list? Why is this the wrong? Oh, I know why. Because I copy pasted like a moron. Let's go ahead and copy paste the right thing, actually. Boom, there it is. Nope, just kidding. We can't do that because, well, weirdly enough, the skill UI does not have a position. What if we make this a control? Dot get node UI element hide close button. Okay, this looks more promising. Let's shoot ourselves. Still no. Well, that's weird. Now it's time to debug. Print, are we calling this? We're not. Okay. Are we calling this? We are. Okay. So I think the problem is this is happening on the server, but not the client, which is bad because this should be being called on the client because half the reason I'm using a skill component is because it's got a multiplayer spawner and it's got a skill component. Oh. Oh, you know what though? The signal is getting emitted on the server, but that doesn't propagate to the client. I cannot, I need the signal to be getting called up here. Or no, that won't work either. Oh. Because I need this signal to propagate to the client. I can propagate the updates. Oh no. Multiplayer. Okay. I know what the problem is. We're calling this function on the server. The server is updating this thing on the client. The client sees the int node update, but it's not calling this function. It's just updating this number. So the signal never gets called because this signal it only exists in this function. So I need the signal to be attached to int node. Did I define a signal in the instant property? Oh, I did. Okay. This is fine. All we need to do is connect to the onInt change signal. No, because we have to do that in a function. Oh no. How do we tell the client, hey, listen for this signal? Boy, I bet this is actually really easy to solve. I just don't have the brain power to solve it right now. Oh. There's the obvious, like, we could just send an RPC. Have an RPC. Call an RPC every time you update the skill. Notify the player, by the way. FYI. No, actually, I would prefer, because the number on the client is updating. That is updating. So what I don't mind is if we develop a skill, if it doesn't immediately show up on the skill list, if we wait until we update it. So what I don't mind is saying, when you create a new skill, notify the skill UI element that you've done that. But to do that, I need to... Is there an on spawn signal? We have we have the multiplayer spawner here. Can I look at the documentation? What signals you got? Spawned. We can connect to the spawned function signal. We can connect to the spawned signal and treat that as the new skill signal. That's not as elegant because the spawned signal probably doesn't give us any metadata about what we've spawned. It just says, oh, it does actually. It gives us the node. Oof, okay. Well, what we can do is ugly, but I think we have an option now. We can, first of all, let's get rid of these. We're not going to be emitting any signals from here because that's not the world we live in. We're going to go to the skill UI, and we're not going to connect to these skills anymore. But we are going to connect to the SC dot spawner. Is this? Can I call it something less dumb? And also, I don't think I could do this. I need to do .get node, like skill spawner. And this is fine. Where's the skill UI? There it is. We're going to connect to the gonna make me do this without the benefit of it's spawned. Okay. Add new skill. And then instead of this, int state property. And then instead of all this, we're gonna have skill.name. Yes, I need to update this. Skill dot int property, and then skill dot on int change connect. Does this report what int is changing? Oh, it doesn't. Excellent. Okay. Just FYI, a skill is updating. Good luck. You figure out what it is. Great. There's no get emitter. Okay, I have to pass in the emitter. All right, let me make sure that I'm not going to break anything by changing this on int change. What is relying on that signal right now? Nothing. Nope, just kidding. The state component. Int property set. Oh boy. Actually, quite a few things rely on it. Well. This is actually going to be messy. But add new skill should work. What I can do is I can actually just track all the skills in my skill UI. But that feels dumb. I should be able to just we're going to be sloppy. well, we're going to, just to get this working, we're going to be sloppy, but we are going to make a to-do. To-do fix int state property to check out repo on the hit gub for Saint 11, animated GIFs for pixel art lessons, Mermaid.js. Define yourself a little diagram. I think if I tried to make this game into a diagram, it would be incomprehensible in its current state, let alone what I've got planned. But I do appreciate making a Mermaid.js diagram whenever the option is there, because I do like how good they look. Fix int state property to be all up. No, I'm just saying words. To emit the property and value for maximum so that I can make the code in the skill UI less dumb. Okay, now that we've given ourselves permission to be dumb, let's connect the update skill. So what we're going to do, since we don't get any parameters, but we do have the dictionary. It doesn't need to be a dictionary anymore, does it? It could just be an array. It doesn't even need to be an array. Do we not have the skill component? That's right. I threw that away because I was like, man, these signals are so sick. I don't even need the skill component. No, we need that. We need that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take our sc4 skill and sc.get nodes. How do I get all nodes? Spaghetti and meatballs. That's me. Maximize that. There's not a built-in way. Oh no. Oh no. Does my skill component please have a list of all skills? Nope. If we want to get an int property, we for node and property. Wait a minute. Property nodes. Oh, I do have an array. Okay, thank God. We're going to go ahead and get the name. Label dict.get skill.name. And that should give us a string, right? The name function gives us a string and not a string name, because a string name is a completely different thing. It gives a string name, damn it. And strings and string names can be interchangeable if Godot feels like it on Tuesdays, which is today, actually. Oh, it is Tuesday. Pass the Parmesan. Let's go. We var label equals that, and then we set dot text equal to skill dot, oh no. No. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. If we're using, hold on, can I just make this a string name? And then we don't need this anymore. We can just go off a string name. Is this correct? Yeah, it is called int property. Great. We're good. So now when I shoot myself, that should give me the bow skill, which we'll call the correct signal. It didn't. Great. Are we calling this? We are calling this. Where's my... Where's my function? All right, so we are calling this. Was I supposed to call this function from somewhere? I can't remember. Because I'm perfectly content with seeding the first call, passing in the skill. Oh no, I'm connected. I've connected to the skill spawner. So as soon as a skill is spawned on the client, that should call that function. We're not calling that function. What is the point of that signal if it's not going to throw? Okay, this is not the server or the client. All right, check this out. We got this skill component, and it's got a spawner. And if we look at the signals, we can't look at the signals. That's not how this works. But theoretically, this is throwing a signal because there's a bow. It spawned this. It should have thrown a signal. Why didn't it throw a signal? When is this connect happening? On ready. As soon as the skill spawner gets created, all right, are we going to see it? We're ready, yeah? Oh, we're not. Oh, this never happens. All of this nonsense because this never actually happens. Because spawn complete never gets called because that's a signal that only gets sent on the server, huh? Only the server cares about spawn complete. Oh no. Oh, but it's fine because we're not being created on initial. We're being created by the player now. We're ready, yeah? Okay, we're ready. Let's shoot ourselves. We are calling this, but we're not getting the label now. All right. Progress. We are adding as a child. All right. So it should show up. If we look at the UI for the player, that's not the UI. That's the UI. That's not the player. That's the player. All right, we got the skill. Why is this a canvas group? It's a control. There's a label in there. Where's the label? Oh, you know what it could be? You know what it could be? I forgot that this is dumb, and I need to tell it to fill the this container. How do I do that? Oh no. Okay, if I do this, will I see the labels now? Yes, there it is. All right. That is not the correct skill. Let me give myself armor. Why is that number wrong? It shouldn't be 0. Okay. Is int property not a thing? No, it is a thing. Print skill int property is it shouldn't be 0. It's not even updating. This is not being called. Because this is not being updated. Oh. All right. Well, I think I know where the problem is. I just don't understand why. Skill component. What's your deal? Why are you not updating? The skill increment should be enough. Are we not? Has this never worked? Let me see my skill component. Oh no. Let me see the subcomponent int state property. Has this never worked? That's correct. Okay, let's look at the server. This is the client. And we know this is wrong. Let's go look at the skill component. We got bow, and that's a 3, and they're both 3. These are both correct. And then obviously if we look at the server, they're going to be correct. That's its job. Why are they 3, but they're not 3 here? At no point is 0 the correct number. Why aren't we punching ourselves? We should be punching ourselves. Huh. Is that a bug? Should I be upset that I'm not punching myself? I'm stabbing myself. Why is this number not right? Why is this number wrong? So we've confirmed that that number is correct on the client, but it's not correct when we get to here. Is that logical? No. Could it be that the problem is that this is not initialized? When I'm getting this skill, it's fresh. It was just minted. It hasn't been initialized yet. That shouldn't be, but node 19645 whatever. Because it's getting this value, which is correct. This feels like a race condition. What's weirder and what I need to figure out is, why does this not connect? Why is this not firing? Because on int change is absolutely happening. There it is. There it is. We are calling that function. Is this empty? Is this the wrong SC? Is property nodes empty? No. It is empty. Why is it empty? I don't know. I'm out of time. I'm confused. This is confusing. I've left a bunch of to-dos for myself that we will fix in stage 3, because this is the end. I will keep working, and then the next couple of streams are going to be me learning Blender or I don't know, trying to figure out. Top of thing for stage 3 is figure out sprites. Figure that out. Let's just figure that out. There's going to be a million options. One of them is going to be correct. I just need to figure it out. Maybe it's use Blender to make a bunch of sprite sheets. Maybe it's use voxels to have Godot export sprite. I don't know. There are options. There are many options. One of them is going to be correct. We're going to figure it out. Anyway, I am going to fall over. And I am sad that I didn't get this working. But it'd be like that sometimes. That is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope your game dev is going well. Hope you are enjoying Godot. Try out 4.7 if you haven't yet. Let me know how it is. I'm using it right now. No complaints. Better than the migration from 4.5 to 4.6. That's for sure. Yeah, hope you're playing lots of fun games. Hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks for being a part. See you all next time.